Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be talking about cutting out toxic family members from your life and some stuff about my more personal dysfunctional family that I come from and the stuff that I have suffered and endured, if you want to call, and have put up with for a very long time, and just some things that I really want to get off of my chest. So, yeah, let's get on into everything. If you all have been following me for a while, you know that I'm not close with my mom. I think I've made like Instagram stuff about it when something's gone down. I know everyone's like, don't ever post when something happens, don't post that personal life, just don't do it. But I want to always be authentic and let people know, because I feel like so many other people have struggled with this. I'm going to start out at a very early stage for me, before I was even born, just being conceived, I guess you'd say, after already being conceived while my mom was still carrying me in the womb. Wow, it's very hard to talk about. I just want to let people know, if you all suffer from abuse and neglect, this might not be a video for you if it's still very a sensitive topic, because it can get a little graphic even. That's just a little disclaimer I want to throw out there. But yes, for me it started when my mom was pregnant with me. From what I'm told from family, nobody knew until she was like either 5 months or 7 months pregnant. She didn't tell anybody, or maybe I don't know if she just didn't know herself. She doesn't really talk about it. I don't really communicate with her that much, but yeah. So when she found out, something else I've also heard is my biological father, who they were not together, they were not dating or in a relationship. It was kind of like a hookup, I guess. He was married to another woman and had a son with his wife. And she wanted to split them up, and I think like she got pregnant on purpose in a way, to try to keep him, but he wanted nothing to do with her. So yeah, I do not have a dad, I have a dad, obviously, but I don't know him. I have only had a couple of interactions in my life with him. So, yeah, I do not speak to him. I've never really, it's so hard to say. Like, I'll just get into that later. And his side of the family, like his mom and his dad and siblings and all that side of the family, I have no contact with. I do not know very little about. So yeah, going back to my mom, and that didn't work out. He left her. Everybody, and this is really sad, because from as long as I can remember, I remember being 7 years old and knowing what a abortion was. I don't really know I don't remember how I learned what it was, but from ever since I was born, like my mom, she would always tell me I was lucky to be alive. My whole family, on my maternal side, begged her to get an abortion and or put me up for adoption. Like, they would list people, I'm not going to tell you who the list was, but they would list people who told her to have an abortion because they knew she wouldn't be able to take care of me. But then there was a few who like are religious in my family who said, no, she doesn't need to get an abortion, but they knew she wouldn't be able to take care of me as I should have been. So they just said she should put her up for adoption. So it's kind of split half and half on. Half my family just wanted her to have an abortion. The other half wanted her to put me up for adoption. Sorry. Obviously she didn't do that. She kept me. And I guess you could say the abuse started from birth. Physical more than mental, because I didn't really understand anything as a child, you know. It was more like everybody would tell me how she would pinch me and just to make me cry and slap me around and shake me and toss me to people, throw me to people. Very abusive. So yeah, growing up into, I guess, an earlier young age, like maybe elementary school, kindergarten to first grade. You know, I remember my mom also, she had on again, off again custody of me. Like, I went through a lot of foster homes and different family members' homes and other things. So, but there was a specific time where my mom had a man that she was dating who, I was about 5 or 6 years old, and this guy that she was dating, who, yes, she did marry him a few years after this situation, but this man, he, at 2 o'clock in the morning, was very abusive towards my mom, you know, beating her up 2 o'clock in the morning. I woke up and I told her I'm going to call the police, you know, and run up the stairs. And I feel like some of this I shouldn't even be talking about. I don't know if I'm even, this might get cut out, might not. I just don't know. It's a lot. It's very deep and it's a lot. And I understand that. And I'm so sorry for anybody that has to hear this. God, it's like a life story. I'm so sorry. I always get cut off, like, I'm overthinking it. But, yeah, he ran up the stairs after me and pushed me down the stairs. And I ended up right on this side, hitting my head on, like, a edge of the wall. And it cracked it open a little bit. And then she ended up marrying this man a year later, maybe 2 years later. And going on to that also, we were in Daytona Beach, Florida. I was in the ocean, and, you know, when you get deeper out, the current just pulls you in further, deeper, whatever. That was what was happening to me, and I had, like, one of those little boogie boards, and my, you know, mom and him got into a fight, and to retaliate to hurt my mom, because I don't know what they were fighting about. He jumped on top of me and tried to drown me in the ocean. So yeah, that's wild, I know. Going on to that, into my early, like, older preteen years, you know, I'm not going to go into, like, all the foster homes I went in and all that, but my mom, you know, very abusive at this point, mentally, emotionally, physically. You know, she would always hit me and talk down to me. She would always sit there, and I remember being brainwashed into somehow thinking it was my fault. You know, I wake her up because I haven't had dinner yet. My mom sleeps all the time to this day, so I don't really communicate with her much anymore at all. No, not even much. I don't at all. She sleeps so much. It's all about her. Gosh. I'm so sorry. I feel like just everything is so all over the place, and I don't know if it's making any sense or not. She sleeps all the time, so I can remember as being a child, you know, waking her up to fix me dinner, and her getting mad that I woke her up, to the point she's hitting me so hard, and then she calms down and notices that she's, you know, she could get in trouble by law, because I was in and out of her home. You know, child abuse is a I guess it's a felony, I think. Yeah. She go to jail, you know. Kaylee, I'll go ahead and fix you dinner, and I'll take you to buy a toy or ice cream or whatever. Just don't tell anybody that this happened. A brainwashing technique. And I didn't and she did that all the way. I was so naive, even as a teenager. You know, even she was doing that to me at 18, and I finally just learned, no, what you're doing is wrong, and you should not be doing that. When I was more in my high school years, my mom moved out of state. I didn't see my mom from, like, gosh, 8th grade year, which was 2008. Yeah, from 2008 all the way to, like, 2013. I didn't see my mom. She would call, and I might talk to her, but I didn't really see her. She might come in for, like, a few days at a time for a visit, but no. So, yeah, then you go into living with, like, my grandparents mainly raised me. Life there. My Nana is the most amazing woman ever. I love my Nana. I consider her to be the only family member I have. You know, my grandfather was more of the emotional abuser, and he doesn't, I don't know if I never really told people, like, how it's ever really affected me, but oh, I worked at a store called Vanity, and he would call me a whore as a teenager, for working at a store like that, and a bitch and dumbass. And I remember I used to want to go to Harvard Law School to be a lawyer. And when I told him that, I was in 5th grade, 6th grade maybe, and I'll never forget, he was like, you're too stupid. That will never happen. You'll never be able to do that. And I quit trying. I didn't try in school after that. That's some of the easier stuff, I guess, but when you want to get into, like, more of today as, like, me being an adult and the abuse that I have put up with for so long, now it's more about my weight, which is still, like, so sensitive. I had somebody on Instagram ask how am I able to be so body positive, because they wish they could love themselves and all of that, and I didn't know how to answer at the time, but I don't. I mean, for me, I feel like a worthless person, honestly, and oh God, it's so embarrassing to talk about this to, like, people that you've never met, and I feel like I hate being the negative Nancy, if that's what you want to call it. I don't know. I don't love myself. I feel like I'm a worthless person, honestly. I don't have any friends where I live at. I've lived in this city my entire life to not have any friends, and I don't have any family, really. I mean, my family make fun of my weight so much. I try not to act like it affects me in person. I just like, you're so funny, They're always talking about, you're so fat you can't even walk, which I can. You don't like to do anything. You're so lazy, and I'm not lazy. I'm a very hardworking person. I can walk. They always make jokes that I can't walk because they see those, like, that 600-pound life of people who really can't walk. And they act like I'm that big and I weigh that much, which I don't weigh that. But they'll be like, oh, you're so fat you can't even walk. You're never gonna find a man to love you. You're never gonna be anything in life because you're so fat. I hear that. I heard that just a couple hours ago. That's why I'm making this video. Just to how I'm cutting these toxic people out of my life. I cut my mom out a while ago. My mom, I don't even want to get, this is like a more easier little bit of a story. My mom is so, she hasn't really been physically abusive, maybe a couple of times, since I've been an adult. When I was 19, she tried strangling me, which I actually had that on video for police at one point. That's just so crazy. Like, I'm sorry. I feel like I don't even need to make this video, but at the same time, I want others to know that they're not alone if they are suffering with stuff like this. I am here for anybody who ever wants to talk. If you want to talk in private, I will, in the description box, put an email for anyone to contact me. I talked to several of you all through that email. But, and it's hard when those are your family members, and I do air quotes because this is not a family. For me, a family takes care of each other. They care about each other. They do everything to help each other out. And, like I said, my Nana is the only family I consider myself to have. A family would never sit there and degrade you, talk about you, make you feel worthless and idiotic. Everything, like, with other people in my family. Like, I have an aunt who I'm going to Europe in May, and she's like, you don't need to go. You shouldn't go. You're not gonna be able to take care of yourself going out there by yourself. You're not gonna know what to do. And And I'm like, why are you even saying that? I know perfectly what to do, and I'm not going alone, really. I'm going with a tour agency. That's a whole other story, but it's kind of like making fun of me about going, I guess. I don't know how to, like, interpret it. It's not, and you all could sit there, oh, she maybe just be saying that. She's the one who also, just a few hours ago, was making fun of me about my weight, so she's not saying it because she cares about me. She's saying it just because, I don't know, she's jealous that I'm going, and she's never really been to that part of the world. We went to London one long time ago, that's a whole other story, but she's been to London, but I'm going to other places, and I'm doing better in my life than I was a while ago. This is coming from the same people who, I had an opportunity to move out of state when I was 18, and they're like, Kaylee, if you do that, that'll be the stupidest decision you've ever made. No, it's the biggest regret of my life. I wish I would have moved, because now I'm not in a point where I'm able to move. I really hope to be, because I absolutely hate living in this state, and I don't want to be here anymore. I absolutely hate it. But, yeah, it's hard to cut out your family, though, quote family. It really is. Me, when it came to my mom, I just stopped talking to her, blocked her from social media, from calling me. I changed my phone number, blocked her from calling me. I told my grandmother, don't tell her anything about me. If I ever move, she's not going to know where I live at unless she hears it from one of her friends. I had to go so far because my mom was she is the kind that will just not let you drop her. She's the kind that's going to stalk you and follow you and everything. And I had to block her friends that I knew of on Facebook. She always has these new little boyfriends who she'll tell to look me up and all of that, but I'm not as worried about it as what I used to be. But yeah, you really, if any of you all are dealing with toxic family members, you really I understand a lot. You need to, I feel weird giving advice because I haven't fully dealt with it. I cry it out, honestly. I take a hot bath and just let everything absorb. And then one day it was like, I'm not going to put up with it anymore. I'm not going to let you talk to me like that. And I just blocked my mom from everything. And that's kind of what I'm doing with my family now. Blocking them out because I don't think when you've treated me like this forever, I don't think it's going to change. I don't know. I feel weird even, like, uploading this. I might end up deleting this, maybe. Let me know what you all think down in the comments, and in the description box I'll have everything for the email if you all want to, like, talk to me personally about stuff. And I'm sorry for even kind of making this video, but it's just something I really wanted to get off my chest. It's like a little bit of a shorter version of everything I've really been dealing with, and maybe you all can understand a little bit more. Like, I've been so depressed and wanting to lose weight, and when people knock me down, the depression kicks in. I just throw myself off where I want to be. Maybe that's maybe a little bit more of a clear look into what I've been dealing with. I don't know, but I am very sorry for having to make this, and I really hope somebody wants to talk if they're going through something like this, because nobody deserves to be treated the way I feel like I have been treated, and I know there's people who have it worse, and I just can't even imagine. So I really hope I can help people, I don't know, or talk to people who have been feeling the way I do, that's been going through similar situations. I plan on making a more in-depth video of certain topics with, like, me being in foster care versus group homes. If you all are interested in seeing that, let me know down in a comment below, and I will see you all later. Bye.